Welcome to the Evolveprenuer podcast channel, which is sponsored by Evolveprenuer.biz, a new online community-based platform designed to help develop your skills and knowledge to be massively successful in this new digital age. Your host today is John North, who is a 3-time #1 international best-selling author and strategic marketer. John's passion is to help business owners to master the online marketing world.
Welcome to Evolveprenuer. Today we've got a special guest, Chris Reed, who's an international #1 best-selling author on Amazon and actually lives in Singapore, but actually we're doing the interview in Sydney today, so looking out over the Sydney Harbour Bridge and all that sort of stuff. So welcome, Chris, and thanks for coming along.
Pleasure, John. Fantastic to be here.
So, Chris, tell me a little bit about your story. I know you started, because I actually did your book, so I know your story. Yeah. But just tell me how you ended up doing what you did, because it's quite interesting how you ended up in Singapore, because obviously you're originally from the UK.
I totally, in the UK, but then I was an entrepreneur over there. I wanted to test myself to be an entrepreneur in Asia. When I came into Asia, I didn't know anybody. Started reaching out on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
People started saying yes. They helped me get my first job through LinkedIn, which was not advertised. Then when I got my first job, it was all about developing business across Asia Pacific, which again, I used LinkedIn.
Yep.
And then people said to me, start coaching me on LinkedIn, start doing my LinkedIn profile. So obviously as an entrepreneur, I knew this is the way to go. So then I developed Black Marketing 3 years ago, which totally does LinkedIn and nothing else but LinkedIn.
Right.
And we now develop personal brands for entrepreneurs and CEOs across the world, their personal branding, their thought leadership, their blogging, their content marketing, their employer branding, and their social selling, lead generation, all through LinkedIn. And it really is using the power of LinkedIn in Asia Pacific, where they've gone from like 10 million people when I first came here 10 years ago to 110 million people now. And right on the back of that Asian wave in terms of LinkedIn professionals using it, that's really been the key and the power to our success.
So does the people that, are your clients predominantly in the Asia Pacific region?
Global. Absolutely global. We have clients here in Sydney, we have clients in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in Shanghai, in Switzerland, in France, in Germany, in England, in America, literally across the world. Doesn't matter where you are.
Sure, it's a global platform.
It's LinkedIn, yeah, precisely.
So do your clients tend to be the same kind of thing, where they're getting clients from everywhere, or is it
I know they're much more specific.
Stuff?
So, for example, our Sydney clients very much want just Australia.
Yeah.
Our Singapore clients want Southeast Asia, maybe Asia Pacific. Our China clients want, for example, just China, or just Shanghai, for example. Our Hong Kong clients tend to want both Hong Kong and China, and maybe a bit more in Northern Asia, for example. European clients basically want Europe. UK clients tend to want UK. American clients tend to want just America. So they have the choice, but of course, because it's LinkedIn, we can do it for them on LinkedIn.
Because the interesting thing was even though I knew use LinkedIn a lot, one day it dawned on me how big a world it was.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hang on a minute, I don't have to worry about trying to find a client next door. I can find a client in America.
Precisely.
And then suddenly my business changed to 50% of my clients are overseas now.
Totally. You have to have a global mindset now because it's a global platform.
Yeah, and I don't think people realise that.
No,
even though they see it, they don't think about it.
Even now they don't. Even now, one of the reasons I moved from London to Singapore is because people in London tend to look at London.
Yes.
That's it. Maybe England.
Yeah.
Maybe the UK. Never Europe.
Never Europe.
Never Europe. It's like, why not? Look beyond your horizons. Look beyond where you're. Don't complain you have no business and you haven't looked at the rest of the world.
Particularly if the economy's not so crash hot in your own country,
Precisely. Ride the wave somewhere else. Look at where it's going to be. That's why most of our business now is places like Shanghai and Hong Kong, where the economies are really, really growing. And even in Sydney, people are realizing they need to use LinkedIn to generate new business. People are not resting on their laurels. Whereas Singapore has less entrepreneurs now, so Singapore may not be doing as well in terms of growth in terms of the other countries. So it's all about you go where the people are. You go where the economies are doing well.
Where the money is. Follow the money.
Definitely.
So, what are probably the three things that people should really do when it comes to LinkedIn? The top three things that you find most people get wrong.
Top three things quite easily, and you just pointed out every single time I have a meeting. Just had a meeting now, and I just said, "Look at your picture," and he went, "Yeah, you got me." I just realised my picture. Look at my picture; it makes no sense at all.
Or it's got no picture.
No picture, or your picture is just terrible. It doesn't convey who you actually are, and then no background profile. Your background profile is an advertising board for you to market yourself and your brand, and people don't even use it. It's like being given free advertising on Times Square and going, no, I don't want that. And then it's your summary section, because most people read your summary section. So use your summary section to describe your brand, your journey, why people should buy into you, your credibility, your awards, your companies. What do you do? Why should people trust you with their business? And then, of course, there's the content marketing. That's the fourth thing. Okay, so there's four things.
You're led for. I'll give you another one.
You've got to be blogging.
Yeah.
You've got to be sharing content, valuable content with other people they can respond to, and they come to you, because then they'll trust you more. They'll know you're a thought leader, they'll know you're serious about your business, they know what you're talking about.
That you're actually real.
Yeah.
rather than
and plus you know what you're talking about.
LinkedIn profile.
Totally.
Yeah.
But then they'll also trust you that you know what you're talking about.
So the interesting thing I notice you do a lot too is that obviously changing your job title at the top of the page is very powerful because it gets sent to the whole network every time you change it.
Not just that, it's when you share. So when you share, your job title basically, when you share that, when you share content, it means that every single time you share content, you have a different job title. Go, oh, that's interesting. Chris is like now this, or Chris is pushing that. So when I'm in Sydney, it says live in Sydney. When I'm in Hong Kong, it says live in Hong Kong.
Yep.
Sometimes I say I'm the founder of this organization or that organization, for example. So I change it, and then I know that every single time I share something, it's replicating itself across all my feed.
Yep.
So I'm using it as a marketing tool. But I'm always mentioning obviously LinkedIn. I'm just using it as a marketing tool more subtly than basically just sending out a press release or doing something of those kind of which is more obvious.
Yeah, because obviously if you're sharing content all the time too, it's going to always show up.
Correct.
So I guess when you look at LinkedIn in terms of the growth, like it was interesting just recently, like Russia decides to shut LinkedIn down. It's interesting that people you get so, I guess they got so reliant on it.
Yeah.
And so what do you do in terms of, do you say to people they should try to get people offline in LinkedIn as much as possible?
It's catalyst. I don't see LinkedIn as being the be-all and end-all. I see LinkedIn as a catalyst.
Yeah.
Like today, I have something like 12 meetings from 7 a.m. in the morning till 7 p.m. tonight, all created through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because I know that if I meet somebody, I can sell them our businesses, because it's a very visual thing about what I'm selling in terms of this is what not we're doing, this is what you should be doing, this is what you're not doing, and actually explain that to them over an hour period, face-to-face. It's much harder to do that on a phone call or a Skype call. There's no way you can do that in a conversation on email or on Skype or on WeChat or on WhatsApp.
I think also that, I've seen people want to have endless chats on that LinkedIn messaging. Yeah. And I think the key is to try and get them away from that as soon as possible because
you got to meet people. LinkedIn's a relationship. It's about meeting people face to face. It's a catalyst to meet the right kind of people, the right person, because it gives you the data to find those people on LinkedIn, and that's the key. All my meetings today have been set up via LinkedIn, saying I'm in Sydney, come and see me in Sydney. This is what you can learn from meeting me in Sydney. By the way, here are our services, so make sure you can afford our services. This is what we can do for you. Come and meet me.
Yep.
And people know it's limited time. They can meet me in Sydney.
Yep.
This is what they're going to learn, but this is the kind of budget they need to have to meet me. But they'll they'll come along quite happily to the Shangri-La here with these wonderful views of Sydney Opera House and Darling Harbour, and they'll actually come and meet me.
Yep.
And it's all through the power of LinkedIn. But you take people from online to offline, and that's really the power of it.
And I think people forget that. I think they also, and I think also the way that LinkedIn messaging works is pretty unreliable in that it's really confusing, and you forget. I get messages of people and you think, oh God, I haven't mentioned them back. And you've got to try and find them then.
I know.
And I think the sooner you get away from that messaging system, the faster.
Yeah, Microsoft need to do something about that.
Yeah, hopefully they'll fix up. Maybe they'll integrate with Outlook. That'd be nice.
Well, I use Gmail, so maybe not for me.
Well, either, because I know Outlook and Google don't like it. They'll try to make their life difficult. Because I think about your profile too. It's like I always say to people, your profile should have its own postcode or zip code because it's so long. Because you can scroll forever on that profile.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to build that thing?
The profile does have its own postcode because it's basically LinkedIn.com/LinkedIn/B2B social marketing.
Yeah.
So you can personalise that.
Yeah.
But basically, I add in all the associations I'm part of. So I'm part of the British Chamber of Commerce in Singapore. I'm part of the American Chamber of Commerce in Shanghai. I'm part of Entrepreneurs Organisation. I'm part of the American Association. All these associations are live experience that I can connect people with. So I need to list all those things on my LinkedIn so that other people who are part of those organisations can see I'm part of those organisations and approach me and I can approach them. That's why you put it down. Experience on LinkedIn is just all your experience. It's not just your job.
Yeah.
And people don't seem to understand it's not just their job they're in. It's basically all the associations from a business
It's all about what they do, not what they
Correct.
or who they are.
In a business context.
Yeah.
Into LinkedIn. Then you get found by other people who also are part of that association. Then you can build relationships with those people, meet those people as well. And that's really the key.
Yeah, because I think the thing is, you get the same space as anybody else. You get the same space as Richard Branson. You can do whatever you like there.
Correct.
And I think it's interesting when you look at some of these online guys. I think Bill Gates probably gets the award for the worst LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, it's
maybe Microsoft can fix it up for him, right? But it's like when you look at Richard Branson's, for example, it's very well done.
But even his isn't perfect. His experience and his summary doesn't talk about it.
That's right. So it's quite weird
because
I think some of these guys think, I'm famous, I don't need to say anything. But the reality is. And I mean, you look at Donald Trump and stuff in the election, he really went mad on social media.
Yeah.
And I think that
didn't use LinkedIn, interestingly enough.
No,
his son uses LinkedIn.
I see Hillary Clinton's got quite a good profile.
But I don't think. I mean, but even hers, if you look at her, she didn't really use it. The last 2 months, she didn't do anything.
No, which is bizarre because the thing is that it's a whole market they forgot about.
Precisely.
And that's the thing. They're really focused on Facebook and all that sort of stuff. And it'd be interesting to see if LinkedIn ever brings out a facility to do video or something like that.
We can put videos into LinkedIn though.
Yeah, but to actually live record it, because I think that's that's turned Facebook around.
Yeah.
If you could do live recordings out of LinkedIn, that'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
I think
you can suggest it to Bill next time.
When I'm talking to Bill next time. But so, in terms of what the process you would go through with a client, what do you think it's a one-off thing that they basically just go in there and get their profile up and running and do that stuff? Do you think it's something they need to be doing? It has to be ongoing.
You have to ongoing, because if you just do it once, that's not enough. You need to basically keep on going, because the algorithm and LinkedIn's gamification means the more you do it, the more rewards you get, the higher the status you get, the more views you get. If you stop doing it, all the views, the status plummets. So it's great you've got an updated profile, because it's better than having a terrible profile. Because when you Google you, the first thing comes up is your LinkedIn profile.
Which is interesting how people forget that.
People totally forget that. They don't forget that the first impression people have of your personal brand is Google, then your LinkedIn profile. That's the first impression. So your LinkedIn profile is crap. People think, wow, this guy's a dickhead. You know, this guy's nothing.
They probably go to Facebook to check out if they've got any dirt on you, right?
There's nothing on this guy's LinkedIn. You know, there's nothing about his personal profile, nothing about his company, nothing about his branding, nothing at all. So basically, by doing it this way, you're making sure that people actually understand what you do, what you can do for them, you know, who you know that they know, your past experience, where you went to university, all the connections you have in common, all the thought leadership you have. But you need to keep it going all the time. So you need to be relevant to people and contemporary people every single day, every single week. And that's really the key. You need to keep it ongoing. Social media is an ongoing platform. The algorithm, the status means you have to do it every single day.
So you need to commit to it. I think a lot of people... I think I say a lot of my clients is don't try and spread yourself thin across social media. Pick a couple of good big ones. And nowadays it's pretty easy, because you just pick Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and you pretty much covered it all anyway. But focus on one that's going to be the best for you. I think in business, LinkedIn's always going to work better than Facebook. But also the thing is that when you look at some of the profiles, like in terms of views, like the interesting things I say to people, they don't even know about it, is when you go into your profile area and you actually look at who's viewing your profile.
Who viewed your profile,
what sort of numbers do you have over that night? Like it says 90 days, and it says how many views you get. What sort of numbers have you got on yours?
Mine's tens of thousands, but Candice Gaylak, who's number one in LinkedIn, has basically got 250,000 over 90 days. And she was the number one. She beat Bill Gates, she beat Richard Branson, everything, because of the power of her blogs. And so it's all about kind of keeping that up there. So you need to be in the thousands, basically, to make it, really the tens of thousands to be the top one.
To get noticed, because the thing is that the thing people forget is that that's like the boilerplate. If you can get those views up, it's basically people viewing your profile, and
then you approach them. The key is to approach them. After they approach you, you approach them and say, "Thank you for viewing my profile. Thanks for reaching out to my blog. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for liking." And then say, "Can we help you? Or how do we work together?"
Because then they'll go back and view your profile.
But also they've already bought into you. They've already started buying into your personal brand. They've already started to buy into your content. So you've broken the barrier already. It's social selling. You're using content to basically open up the door. They walked in the door, and you basically say, "Hey, welcome.
Here's my
precisely, this is what we can do for you. This is what we can do for you." You brought them to your shop. Exactly that. You brought them to your personal brand, and it's much easier to sell somebody if they're coming to you rather than you having to reach out to them.
Because they feel like they're in control.
Correct.
So I mean,
they made the decision, correct?
And I think that's the secret. I mean, LinkedIn's not that hard to do. Ultimately, it's logical, because to me, it's like business networking, right? If you do the same thing as you would do in a business networking environment, you spot something face to face, you give them something, and work it out from there. So
it's based on relationships, based on rapport. But there's only so many things you can do on LinkedIn, so it's very limited. It's just about doing those things well, doing those things better than anybody else, using keywords, using search, using blogs, using content, using website graphics, using groups, using skills, using connections to build up your personal brand. And that's what it's about. It's not rocket science, but it's time. It's time, expertise, and experience. That's what people do not have. But that's what they need to do to get the most out of LinkedIn. So
that's basically what you do, right? Correct. You sit there and you basically do the heavy lifting for them.
Well, we have 3 teams of people doing it. I mean, that's why it's so complicated. That's why it's very difficult to replicate what we do. We have a sales navigator team who do nothing else but sales navigator. They will generate you leads on LinkedIn. Editorial team who will write your blogs for you. We have a content marketing team, and we have an account management team who will add connections, revamp your page, add keywords in there, write your summary, write your experience, add in groups, do your background picture, do your photograph, and they will also do a content marketing strategy for curated content to complement the blogging. And this is 3 teams on your account all the time. That's why it's very labor intensive what we actually do. That's why it's very difficult to replicate.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. I mean, to sit there and do that every day, you'd have to actually run your business too, don't you?
But also, it's different skill sets. To be a writer is different than using the data on LinkedIn to be a salesperson. It's different to be an account manager. They're 3 different skill sets.
Yeah, creative people aren't very good salespeople, typically.
And vice versa. Vice versa. People are good at data, aren't very good at writing. So you use people, that's why we have 3 distinct teams. And if you're going to basically try and replicate it, you need to do that within your own team. That's very difficult to do.
And the other thing too is, like, with LinkedIn, you've got different levels of membership, and a lot of people sit on, like, I always say to people, you need to get at least a premium membership of some level.
I need Sales Navigator. You really need Sales Navigator, because the data on Sales Navigator allows you to look at who's actually active on LinkedIn, who's changed jobs on LinkedIn, who's in the news on LinkedIn. Right. Then you can personalize message to all these people. And that's really the key. Personalizing the message for them, whether it's a connection request, whether it's an email, but doing it through Sales Navigator, because Recruiter and Premium do not give you this data.
Right.
They don't tell you who's changed job, who's been in the news, and actually who's active on LinkedIn, and that's key. Whereas Sales Navigator does tell you this, and that's the key for sales and marketing professionals. If you want leads, you need to target people that are actually active on LinkedIn, because only 1 out of 5 people are active on LinkedIn.
Right.
Only 1 in 5. So it means 4 in 5 are on it but not using it. No point messaging them, because they're not going to reply. So message the people who are actually active on LinkedIn with a compelling and interesting and insightful LinkedIn email. Keep it short, keep it sweet, and you'll get a reaction. If you don't do that, you won't get a reaction because they're not on it, or because your wording is too long, or because they don't know what you want. They've got seconds to decide whether they're interested in you or not. You have seconds to impress them with a good personal brand, a good message.
So do you think the big long emails that I get from the SEO companies where they spend endless time talking about how wonderful they are, really it's going to work for them?
No. And if they say, contact me at gmail.com, it's like run away in a million miles. Why would you be using gmail.com?
I feel like, except I don't want to start a conversation with them, I usually feel like coming back to, if you think it's really going to work for you, that you're going to start going straight on to the sales pitch and you're going to try and sell something to me that I'm not going to pay any attention, particularly when it's like a million miles, like really long.
Exactly. No one's going to trust you.
Yeah.
It's all about trust. Basically, that's why my email today, for example, to people in Sydney was, I'm in Sydney, do you want to have a cup of coffee? That's it.
Yeah.
And then they can check out my profile, because I mentioned them being an international best-selling author with your book.
Yeah.
I mentioned being a power profile. I mentioned running a NASDAQ-listed company, and that's enough. They can see I've got credibility.
You've got to build some curiosity,
precisely.
Right? Yeah.
That's enough. That's the credibility. That's the establishment. They can see I'm a LinkedIn power. I got #1 in Singapore. You know, with the book, it's the #1 book in the world about LinkedIn. They can see that. So all I need to do is say, do you want to have a cup of coffee to talk about your LinkedIn profile? Nothing else.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Appreciate people's time. We're dealing with busy CEOs who have no time. We appreciate their time.
Attention deficit disorder is pretty much covered.
Totally.
Yeah, it's like a lot of
Keep
people.
Keep it simple. One message. What do you want to do? You want them to meet you. That's it.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, is if people can kind of think about in a normal business relationship, it's not, for some reason people think that the social media or whatever is some sort of robot at the other end, and they're not really dealing with people. Yeah. And I think that's where people go wrong in that scenario. Right. They just forget that you're a human. So tell us a little bit about, like your costs and charges, because at the end of the day, obviously, to me, you don't want to talk about the money side of things. A lot of people go, well, at the end of the day, it costs, right? No point talking to someone who says, I've got a budget of $50 a month.
Totally. We charge between $3,000 and $5,000 a month, Australian. Yeah. So every single month, for minimum either 4 months or 6 months. If you commit to longer time, we give you more discounts, basically, because we know that LinkedIn works over time. Yeah. You will have more success over time, so we encourage you to work with us over time. But it costs between $3,000 and $5,000 a month. So that's why we tend to target entrepreneurs, tend to target C-suites. But we also do things like coaching sessions, people who don't want the full 6-month, 4-month package. We do one-on-ones, we do workshops, for sales teams, marketing teams, senior executives. We're quite happy doing that as well. And that can be up to 100 people. It essentially. Yeah, that can be up to 100 people. And that's about $5,000 for a morning, for example, for 100 people in a room. So that's pretty cost effective. Yeah, that's pretty cost. Organisations will actually want to get moving, because the thing I think they forget about is that all the staff that are in your business can be promoting your business for you. And their LinkedIn profiles either don't exist or they're pretty bad as well. They don't even list the current employer. So so tell us, how do they get in contact with you? I mean, you've got your website and you've got LinkedIn.
Yeah, of course. So first thing they need to go is LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, obviously.
So Chris J. Reed, isn't it?
Basically, just put Chris J. Reed in there, or it's linkedin.com/in/B2B social marketing. Is my kind of like my wording on LinkedIn. So put it in there, or you can do Chris J. Reed, and you can obviously Skype me. On WeChat, we're LinkedIn Marketing. On Twitter, we're Black LinkedIn. On Skype, we're Black Marketing Global. So there's lots of different ways you can market me, or old-fashioned
Choose
email.
their own adventure.
Old-fashioned email, chris@blackmarketing.com. You go to our website, blackmarketing.com, or go to chrisjreed.com, where we have information about the book as well.
And so also for the listeners, they can actually get your book free plus shipping.
They can indeed at chrisjreed.com, or in terms of, I think it's on...
thinkthinkmarketingbook.com.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's great. So thanks, Chris, for coming along.
Pleasure. Thank you, John.
And I'll hope to talk to you soon.
You've just been listening to another great Evolvepreneur podcast interview. We hope you enjoyed it. Please visit evolvepreneur.biz today to find out more about our online community and how you can take part.